Throughout all my life, I've enjoyed being creative, from playing with Play-Doh to making music with building blocks with my brother. I also enjoyed writing, but writing didn't like me back. Every time I tried to write, my hand would get cramped and sweaty, and ultimately my whole arm would hurt. I remember in the first grade, our teacher would make us write one word 100 times on a brown sheet of paper. My letters and ultimately my words were so big that I got nowhere close to 100 by the time I ran out of space. You see, what I didn't know that I had was dysgraphia. And dysgraphia is a learning disability similar to dyslexia, but instead of affecting your reading skills, this affects your writing abilities. Experts usually break down the effects into 3 categories. The first one is visual spatial, which deals with line spacing of letters and differentiating between different letters and shapes. So someone with dysgraphia may have trouble spacing out their letters. The second one is fine motor skills, like how you grip a pencil. A person with dysgraphia may struggle to hold their pencil correctly, which affects how they write their letters. And holding your pencil incorrectly can lead to fatigue because your hand's getting cramped and you're focusing on writing the letters, you just get tired. The last category is language processing, which deals with communicating your thoughts into writing. Many writers talk about the dreaded white page of a new project, but for someone with dysgraphia, that white page is a death sentence. These 3 topics are not the only things that dysgraphia affects. It ultimately affects every part of one's life. It not only affects the 3 that we talked about, but it also affects their spelling, memory, reading, and sequencing, and many other areas. It's estimated that between 4 to 20% of children have dysgraphia. But what causes dysgraphia? The cause is not fully understood, but it's throughout the ventral stream. This is where orthographic coding takes place. In short, this is where we store words and their meaning. In someone with dysgraphia, this area is impaired. I see it as a flowing river, right? So a normal kid, the water flows freely. But in someone with dysgraphia, there's like a dam in the river, and there's only a little bit of trickling water that's coming through. It's not that we don't have the idea, nor the plan. It's just that it takes us a while to get that out into whatever we're doing. So can this be cured? Well, it can't. We can help with motor skills and spelling, but that's also assuming that the person gets help, seeing as how 66% of people don't know what dysgraphia is. And 77% of children that have it, get this, are males. Many students and adults go throughout their life undiagnosed and are labeled as lazy and unsmart. But writing capability has nothing to do with one's intelligence. Most people with dysgraphia or dyslexia and others with learning disabilities have trouble in school because schools are not created for them, nor are they equipped to truly help them. While most students think like this in school, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you get to your goal, people with dyslexia and dysgraphia think like this, all over the place, which makes it harder to get our ideas out. It's hard for school for me because while other people can write beautiful notes, my notes come out looking like this. Because it's hard for me to keep up with the teacher talking and making notes at the same time. A good example of this is when I'm in math class, right? So we get a list of 7 problems to try out on our own. It's a new concept, independent work time. I'm working, you're working too. And then the teacher calls us back. You're finished. Most of the class is finished. I'm only on problem number 3 because it takes me a little bit of time to get my thoughts out on the paper. And from a teacher's perspective, it looks like I'm struggling, but I'm not. It just takes me a little bit more time. I understand the concept. I understand what we're doing, but it just takes me a little bit more time to get my ideas out onto the paper. I honestly think the biggest step that we need to take is educating people and teachers especially on this learning disability, along with dyslexia and other learning disabilities. Because since school is not curated for them, They need someone that understands this learning disability and is there to help them. So people already allow people to write down on their laptops instead of writing out it on paper. They allow extra time, but not all teachers do this. So really helping teachers and educators understand this learning disability would be a giant step into one, making students with learning disabilities more comfortable, but also making them thrive in school. Thank you.